Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be going into depth and showing you how to achieve two different eye looks that are beautiful for every day and that are perfect for eyeshadow beginners. Of course, this video is catered more towards beginners, but anyone at any skill level can achieve these looks. Today's video is in partnership with Refer, so big thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. Their eyeshadow brushes are gorgeous. They create the most beautiful eye brushes, which are handcrafted in Japan by master artisans using traditional techniques. Their shapes are perfection for any types of looks. If you're doing super blown out smoky looks or super detailed intricate eye looks, they have it all. Their mission is providing high quality products at affordable prices, and you'll see why I love these brushes so much throughout today's video. So let's get started. I'll quickly go over the products I will be using in today's video, starting with an eyeshadow primer. Very important step, especially if you want your eyeshadow look to last all day. I also have my setting powder handy as well as my highlighter, and the eyeshadow palette I'll be doing these demos with is the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes The Neutrals palette. But if you have the original Master Mattes palette, feel free to use that, or virtually whatever palette you have on hand. This video is all about the techniques, not the products, so use whatever you have. So starting with the first eye, I really wanted to curate an eye look that was easy to achieve in a few minutes, and I wanted something that really enhanced and lifted the eye. So let's get started. I'll be starting with my Fenty Beauty eye primer, and this creates a really nice waxy barrier. So I apply it right in the center of my eye like so, and I blend it in with my fingertip until I feel it getting tacky, and you will kind of feel it. It'll start feeling really waxy and a little bit dry. That's when you know you're ready to go. Also, yes, my nails are very grown out. My usual nail appointment didn't align with my upcoming vacation, so I'm waiting till the last moment. So I'm first grabbing my setting powder with a big brush. This is the Refer 15 Max, and I'm going to take quite a bit of that, and I'm going to set my brow bone from right underneath of my brow to my crease. This is going to help us with blending. It's just going to cut the work in half. It almost acts like a little slip, and you'll get a perfect blend every single time. But I don't set my mobile lid in this area right here because I want this to remain a little bit sticky, just in case if I'm adding a shimmer shadow, and I always want the most depth right around my eyelashes. And by leaving your eyeshadow primer a little bit tacky, it's going to really grasp onto the pigment and just lock it in place all day. So to begin, I will be using the shade MN4 from the palette, which is this one up top here in the corner. I first like to go in with a powder that's a little bit more of a contour shade for me. Feel free to use a contour powder too, but I'm taking this Refer 16 brush. So for my eye anatomy, I'm aiming for right here, not where my crease is, but just above, and that will achieve a lifted appearance. And I'm doing little back and forth motions like so, just to get the pigment on there. And once I know I have most of the pigment on my lid, I then do little circles. And then I also kind of flick whatever's left on my brush, and I kind of drag from right here outwards. This will kind of add a little bit more of a lifted, more snatched appearance. And it will kind of fade back into like your bronzer and contour and such. And then you just want to do this until you feel like you have a good blend. And if you see that there's a little bit of harshness, go back in with the first brush you used with the setting powder and add a little veil on top, and that's just going to help diffuse and blur out. Then I like to switch to a smaller brush. This is a 15 mini from Refer, and I go into a little bit of a deeper shade. I'm using this one right here. And now I'm following my natural anatomy here, and I'm going right where my crease ends, and I'm kind of flicking it outwards, which is going to just really draw the eye outwards. And then I'm picking up my brush 16 once again to soften that up. I'm not blending it out with the 15 mini because I'm afraid that there's too much pigment on here, and I'd rather the lighter shade take charge and blend that deeper color out. It'll just make it a lot more seamless. Now I'm picking up this 02 mini brush. Whoops, I almost stabbed myself in the eye. It's like a flat, denser, shorter brush. It's pretty thin as well, as you can see here. And I'll be using this dark brown shade at the bottom. And I'm just dipping in once. You're not going to want to like rub into your pans. The way I like to dip into my eyeshadows is just by going like this. Just one little tap is all you need. And sometimes I just tap the excess off just in case. But with this, I'm going to stamp right on my outer corner. I'll point with a clean brush right here. I'm not going to touch the outer lashes right here, just right in this section. So we lift and draw attention to our lash line. So I'm going to press, I'm basically aiming for my eyelashes here, and I'm just stamping it in a dotting motion. Doot, 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 doot. Then I'll rub the same brush on a towel just to clean it, and then I'll start manipulating the pigment I have on my lid. So I'm going to place my brush just a little bit out from where I placed that, and I'm going to draw inwards like this. This way we're keeping the pigment right here, because if we're sweeping it outwards like that, then we're going to get more of like a winged eyeliner situation. If you want to do that, go for that, but I just want to keep it right here. Just like so. And you can see that already draws so much attention to my outer corner here, and it just opens my eye. So I would stop here if you don't like wearing eyeshadow on your lower lash line, but I'm going to complete the look because I personally like that. I feel like it just completes the look for me. I'm going to take this gorgeous detail brush. This is the 13 mini. It's one of my favorites because it's such a perfect tiny, tiny blending brush. And I'm going to grab that first shade I put in my crease, that MN4 shade, and I'm going to first place it right here underneath of my eye. I'm not going all the way out to my outer corner right here. I'm just going right here. This way we get kind of a more opened eye effect. And once I have less on my brush, I'll drag it towards the center here. Switching to a nice detail brush. This is another one of my favorites from Refer. It's a 23. You can see it's pretty stained, but it's so nice and tiny. I love brushes this small because you're really able to pinpoint where you want the pigment. And I'm taking the deepest, darkest brown we went in with today, and I'll be grazing this right over my lower lashes right here, but that's it. Taking my 13 mini again, and I'm blending that out. I just thought of this and I wanted to go over it quickly, but where you hold your brush is going to affect your outcome. So with looser, fluffier brushes like these, I like to hold those brushes kind of in the middle, closer to the end. That way you're really allowing the bristles to do the work for you, and you're not adding too much pressure that you're fraying your brush like this. That will create patchiness, and it will also create harshness. But letting up on the brush is just going to help you in the long run. It's just going to blend it out a lot easier. But when I'm working with detail brushes, I like to really choke up on the brush. That way I can really pinpoint where I want the pigment, but when I'm blending it out, I will let go and let the bristles do the work. So say you did a little bit of over blending and this is kind of getting muddled. What I like to do is I take another detail brush. This is a Refer 03. It's another pencil brush, but it's just a little bit bigger than the 23. You can see there. And I like to take a lighter shadow from the palette. I'm just going to mix these two because this one's a little dark and this one's a little light for me. You can also use your setting powder, but I take this color and I highlight right here. And this is going to kind of conceal that overblend, and it's just going to clean it up, sharpen it up, and draw attention to your eye just that much more. Now you can do one of two things. I always like to make sure my eyeshadow primer is set here. So you can either highlight it with the lighter shades from the palette. I'll be using a Refer 02 Max to do this. Once again, I did a mixture of these two shades, and I will be patting it right where I don't have any eyeshadow. This is just going to highlight and set or unset eyeshadow primer here. Kind of make it look a little bit more crisp and complete. Then once I place that, I'll take my original big blending brush. With no new product, I just graze the edges of that just so that everything is nice and blended. So you can set your look like this for an all matte look, or you can take your highlighter or whatever fun shimmer shade you want that you have in your collection. I think it'd be such a fun video to do something like this, and then how to jazz it up with a little bit of pops of color or just to funk it up. So let me know if you'd like to see that. But I'm taking that same brush, 02 Max, with my highlighter, and I used my Rare Beauty Exhilarate powder highlight, and I just pat that right here, just as if it was that matte color. But that way you get a little bit of shimmer. And you can also use that in your inner corner, which I forgot to do on the other side. One moment, please. So you could do a little glowy option or an all matte option. And then you want to finish the look with mascara or eyelashes. If you opted with putting eyeshadow on your lower lashes, I think it's really cute to add an extra layer right on the outer corner where you place that dark brown. That way it accentuates right here, and I feel like it just makes your eye look a lot more wide. And that completes eye look number 1. It's now time for look number 2. Again, I'm starting with my Fenty Beauty eye primer, and I think it's really important to go in with an actual eye primer instead of, say, like a concealer, because most concealers have some kind of hydrating ingredient that can tend to make your eyeshadow crease throughout the day. So if you're dealing with like a dark spot, like right where your eyes crease a little, it's most likely due to your eye primer not working out for you or using a concealer. So once again, blended that in until it felt nice and tacky, taking my setting powder to set my brow bone with my Rephr 15 Max. I'm starting with my Rephr 13 Mini, and I'm starting with a deeper color because I wanted a really nice, soft, subtly smoky eye, and I'm starting with this color right here. And I'm not going for precision here. I'm just focusing this color right on the outer corner, kind of in a C shape. So I'm starting right on my lower lash, and then I'm wrapping it around like this, which creates kind of like this C. And I'm just going for a nice soft blend here. So to place that color, I was holding my brusher closer to the front, but now to get a softer blend, I let up, and I'm letting the top bristles do the work. Then I'll switch to my tiny detail brush, the Rephr 23, this little guy here, and I'm using the deeper brown right next to that. And I'm going to focus it in that same area, just tighter towards my lashes. Layering eyeshadows this way creates kind of like a hazy, smoky effect, and you can really control the amount of depth you go in with. So now I'm going to switch to my Rephr 16, which is my big fluffy brush, and I'm going to put this color right here in my crease. And I'm starting a little higher than my last one. And because I'm going for a more open, rounded look, I'm focusing the most amount of pigment right here, right above my iris here. And then I'll softly flick it outwards. I'm going to gradually introduce this shade right here, this warmer color. And I'm going to focus that closer to my mobile lid for some extra depth. And I'm not afraid of bringing that shade down here. And I'm switching it to this Rephr 01 Mini, which is kind of a flat yet fluffy brush. And I'm going to introduce this color right here. And I will be patting that right on my lashes, like this, going upward. And I'm not going over this quite yet. Just focusing right here, taking that Rephr 16 again, and I'm going to blend those together. But I'm happy with that. So I'm going to finish the lower lash line, and I'm just going to take a mixture of this shade and this one with that Rephr 13 Mini. And I'm going to just brush that along my lower lashes. And on this over here to soften it up. Now you can go back in with your deeper colors and touch this part up again to bring it to the foreground. Now you have a really nice soft ombre look that is super eye enhancing and a little bit sexy, but it's really quick and easy to achieve. Now you can add some final details if you'd like to highlight your inner corner. I'm going to do so with the lightest shade in the palette here with my Rephr 03 brush. And if you want to soften things up just that much more, take your setting powder and that original brush you set your brow bone with, and then you can just graze the edge of everything, and it should make it look extra nice and blended. And to finish with some lashes or mascara. And for this look, I really like to pile on the mascara. I feel like this looks so cute with a heavy lash. And there we have it. Here is the second look all done. I feel like this one really opens up the eye. It almost makes me feel doll-like, and who doesn't want that? So if you're thinking of picking up some refer brushes, I put together this little set of my top favorites and top recommended. So for blending brushes, I have these ones in 3 sizes, the 16, which is the big giant one, 15 mini, which is the medium size, and then this tiny one, which is a 13 mini, which is awesome for little detail works. And then I think these detail brushes are incredible. Of course, this one, I think this is my top favorite brush. It's so tiny and wonderful. The 23, love to bits. Same with the 03, one of my most used as well. Hold them together so you can see the difference in sizes here. And then these kind of more flat brushes. So this one's a little bit more fluffy. That's the 10 mini. And this one, which is more dense and more flat and precise, the 02 mini. These are all of my faves here. But I wanted to say another big thank you to Refer for sponsoring today's video. I'll have links to their website in the description box down below, as well as links to all the brushes I used today. But that's going to be all from me. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this from me in the comments down below. But I'll have everything I used listed and linked, as well as the things I used for my base. So feel free to check that out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!